Greetings, folks. Welcome to Faulkner Fixes All. We can't always work on old bikes. That's fun. But, yeah, the old work truck has been a little fumey lately after I shut it off on a really hot day, pushing it really hard. It's just an old engine that's converted to two-barrel. It should be expected. So this morning I put this generic, this is actually for like a 91 Oldsmobile, whatever. It's a charcoal canister. And I don't know if you can see it, but up in there, there's a little vent on top of the carb. When you open up the throttle, the accelerator pump actually opens this valve, which opens the vent to the top of the carb, and fumes come out. I had that capped off, and I don't really know which is better. I just tested the truck pretty hard, and it seemed to be better. Remind me to get some actual better rubber caps. This has to have a vent. I think this part that says air, that has to be open. Anyway, the gases come in and go into that charcoal canister and come out the bottom and do magic emissions stuff. This truck is basically, yes, it's an emissions delete truck because it's an 81, and in this state I don't have to deal with any of that. So the EGR is gone, and this is an aftermarket two-barrel. What I've noticed is on a hot day and pushing it really hard with big loads, you shut it off and it's a bit fumy. And, you know, long term, that's not going to be good for me or the environment. So, yeah, today we're also going to change the PCV valve and the grommet. And this is a PCV 1201DL. And this is the federal model. And there's no difference from the Canada to the federal one except the part number. I'll show you in a second. And this grommet, and I hope this is the right one. It fits on there pretty good. And as you can see, that one's kind of glued on in the back and loose. And we're going to deal with that too. Just trying to make this engine a little less fumy. It's not too bad driving around. In the summer, you got the wing vents open. You know, one of the last years with wing vents. So if there is any fumes, you smell them. But after I put this little canister in, it wasn't so bad. I'm hoping that's it. There's another item which is disconnected, and this is the purge line from the tanks. It goes way back to a T and goes to the top of each tank. There's a purge valve. And that tube back there on the one tank I'm using now, because the back tank is bad. The side tank that I'm using all the time now, that purge valve, the tube is just dangling near the frame. And I think if I'm really serious about this, I'll get a piece of brake line and bend it all up, because I'm sure this 45-year-old steel line down here is completely plugged up and toast. I don't know, I might blow through it and see. But it doesn't even go, someone snipped it off years ago. It doesn't even go to that tube. So I'm going to make that right too. I don't think that's where all the fumes are coming from. I think it's from this aftermarket carb. And this had a cap on it. And I think it had nowhere to go but just inside the engine, and flooding and hot starting issues and stuff like that. During the winter, I am going to have to hook up this electric choke. Right now it starts fine, but in the winter I will have to hook that up to a 12-volt ground, 12-volt positive source, probably right from the alternator or something dangerous like that. I haven't had a problem with it this summer. In the winter it's a little stubborn, and I will probably have to hook that up. So we're not worried about that now. Anyway, let's enough yapping, and let's get to changing this out. Let's see if you guys can kind of see. I'm going to lean over and take the valve out, compare it to this one, and then we'll pry the grommet out. Man, I can't even reach over there. I'm gonna need a stool or something. Oh yeah, here at Faulkner Fixes All, we make the mistake so you don't have to. Try not to touch a hot engine. Ooh, that's hot. Okay. Okay, that was easy. Yeah, that was probably leaking. Let's see if we can just peel this out of here. And we can, and maybe some silicone didn't go in the engine. That'd be nice. We don't like that. Okay, this should come right off. I don't want to pull on that too hard. Let's see
see if I can get this off. Ow, the engine is really hot, guys. Whew. Man, it's kind of, I don't want to ruin the hose, but I want to get this off. Okay, we got it. Okay, let's look at the parts we're going to put in. We are going to trim that rubber hose with a special tool I have to make it better. Okay, I'm putting my foot on the tire right now to get off.
Oh, look at that. It was broken anyway. I'll be damned. Yeah, it got melted. Huh. Look at that. It was, it shouldn't be spinning around like that. Huh. That might have been a small vacuum leak, too. Not much of one. It's just sucking fumes back into the base of the carburetor. This has a part number of 2099. Maybe that's the Canada model. Looks a little loose. Should be. Definitely is not cool there, though. If you see that, that shouldn't be doing all that. Okay, let's compare the part we're going to put in. Oh, 2098. Oh, maybe that's the... Well, it's close enough. It looks close enough. It's not separated there. The spring part seems to be in a little better shape. That's kind of weak. That's stronger. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and put this in. I don't think there's much difference between the Federal and the Canada model. I'm pretty sure this is probably the Canada one. So let's break this off and stuff it on here, because it's obviously what they want you to do. And we'll take this little vinyl cap. Try to use rubber caps if you can. The vinyl ones aren't too good, but with that on there and the vinyl one, I think we'll be okay. If I can get it off. Wow, that does not want to come off. That is melted on there. Whew. Might have to find another rubber cap for that. Well, let's continue on. Let's see if we can put the grommet in. I'm not really down with all that silicone falling into the engine. Let's try to get some of that off.
Maybe we'll put this rag in the hole and try to get some of this off. Wow, this engine is hot. Yeah, don't glue grommets on your valve cover with red silicone. That's not good. I don't know who would do such a thing. Okay, I think we're gonna just stuff the new rubber grommet on there. I don't want any of that to fall down in there. I was already taking a chance doing that. Okay, let's get the new grommet. Yeah, looks pretty good. These don't last too long, unfortunately. You know, back in the day, you go to Ford and get one, and it probably lasts 20 years. But now these things are made, I don't know where it's made. It's probably not made anywhere near here. Yeah, made in China. Okay, whatever. So we see it does fit pretty good. And this is the old one, which doesn't fit very well at all. Very loose. And we have that crack there. That's kind of heat damaged. All right, let's put the new grommet in. And this is Dorman number 42049. I'm pretty sure this is probably for the 6-cylinder only. The PCV valve may interchange to V8, but I think this grommet's different on the V8. Could be wrong on that.
Okay, let's pop this baby in. Oh, no problem. It doesn't fit great, but maybe with the PCV valve in there, it'll be better. Okay. That's probably why I glued it with the silicone, because it doesn't fit very well. Okay, we still haven't got this cap off. I'd really like to, so I'm not digging around on camera for a cap. Man, I think I'm gonna have to dig around for one. Bummer. Okay, well, we'll get to that. All right, we're gonna take this little trimmer, really nice tool to have, and we're gonna trim about, oh, I don't know, ½ inch off this tube. If we can get in here. Man, that's tight. Let's see, it'll still reach, won't it? Yeah, we got a little. Okay, we'll trim a little off of this. There we go. That's a nice fresh tube there. I wanted it to be more of a straight cut than that, but let's see if I can fix that. That was kind of a lame cut. Yeah, I don't know why I'm sitting here on the top of a fender. I don't know why that would be a lame cut. Oh man, this engine's probably should have done this when it's cold. And that's really bad. Okay. You know, all I'm doing is messing that up. Man, I just can't get in to get it. See if I can get it from the other side. Whew, having fun yet? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna reach up here. Got it. Okay, nice and square. It should still reach. Yeah, I think we're all right. Okay. And we're gonna put this on. There's a cap on the end of that. I will get a cap. I will get a vacuum plug for that in a second, but for now, we're just gonna put this on. And these fit pretty tight. I don't think you have to have a, you could put a hose clamp on here. I don't think you have to though. I kind of want that vacuum advance line on the back side of it. I don't know why. There we go. And that's about it. There it is. Let's look for a cap. I'll start it up and I'll look for a cap. Let's make it right. And you can see why I kind of glued that on. It's not the best grommet in the world. You know, it's not great. We gotta find a cap. It's not a great grommet. We'll find a cap for that. Yeah, let's start it up. I'll rummage for a cap. And you can listen to the wonderful purr of a slightly worn out 4.9 engine. Okay.
And here's what we took off. I can see why I glued that on, but I don't think I'm going to do it this time. And this was pretty bad. It was probably leaking right here, but I don't think that was a major issue. And, you know, there's probably 20,000 miles on this. Seems okay. Probably was fine. I'm trying to make this thing a less fumey. And this was a really cheap thing to get. And it might help the whole system. All right. Let's, yeah, I think I'm going to shut you off. I'll get that cap and then I'll turn you guys back on in a second. Okay, we found a cap. I had a few left over and another Dorman Universal product. Yeah, you're not just going to find stuff that's, you know, for new old stock, especially like something small like that. Yeah, it's on there. I put it on there. You know, maybe if this hose was a little longer, it wouldn't pull on the grommet so much. Or maybe I could just glue it back on like I did before. I think it's okay for now. Yeah, and that leads around to a big Christmas tree looking thing that goes into the manifold. You can see I have a lot of stuff plugged off. Like I say, it is a small delete truck. It is now anyway. Well, I'm kind of bringing it back though. I do have a better cap for that. You know what? Let's change that right now if I got one that fits. That looks like it'll fit better. And then I can get rid of this goofy package. If it fits, it may not, may be too big. Nah, it's too big. Okay, well, we'll just leave that one on there now. And remind me, tell me in the comments to get another pack of these. They're good to have. Okay, let's start it up, and I won't be able to tell right away until I take a hard ride with a big load or do something crazy. Let's start it up. I just checked the oil. I know that's good. Let's start it up and check the tranny fluid so you guys know how to do that. And you know, when you start stuff up and you have tools all over the place, it's good not to have them there. So, you know, put them back behind the cab of the truck or something where they go. And my dad always says, keep the old parts behind the back seat until they roll around and you fall out the door, because you never know about the new parts. And if you're wondering how much stuff you carry in an old truck that you daily drive, a truck that's over 43 years old, you may wonder exactly what is behind the seat. Well, you got stuff. You got a funnel, wrenches, jumper cables, lots of wrenches and sockets, a tarp, oh that's just for loads, electrical stuff, test light, tranny fluid, brake fluid, some really good fuel line, electrical tape, spare fuel filter that fits on the carb. Yeah, lots of electrical connectors down in there. Some oil. There was a thing of coolant. Well, it's not really needing coolant lately. Oh, can of Fix-A-Flat, a lug wrench. Yeah, I used to have a hydraulic bottle jack in here, but I took it out and put it in my wife's car because I always keep the old parts laying around. And the reason I put the bottle jack in wifey's car was because the standard Prius jack that came with the car does not lift the car. Don't ask me how I know. Why doesn't the jack that came with the car work? Anyway, there's the jack here if I had to use it. It looks like I probably could use that if I could get this wing nut off. I'd be pretty desperate to unpack that thing and use it. But the rod for it is right here. This is the rod. Put a little rubber piece on there. That is the rod that does all that. But you know, maybe I should undo that at a later date and, you know, clean it all off and make sure it works. Or maybe I should just buy another bottle jack. That's probably what's going to happen. Okay, so yeah, don't start your vehicle with a bunch of stuff laying around on the front of the grill and fenders and stuff. Just personal preference. I've had stuff fly off and, oh, that's right, I'm supposed to keep that behind the seat. Okay. All right, let's start this thing up and we'll check the tranny fluid. And we'll we'll see if that PCV valve, which may or may not be good because you never know nowadays. All right, clear. Now, for trannies that you just put in, or you don't really know what's going on, the car hasn't moved, or you've done some work on it, you would put it in each gear, you know, with your foot on the brake. You put it in drive first, second, reverse, then back to neutral, then into park. Then you would check the tranny fluid with it hot. But since, you know, I've just been running this, and I run it almost every day, there's no reason to filter the tranny fluid along. We know it works. But, you know, in case, you know, you were just starting out on a cold day, or you just changed the fluid or something, you would just put it through each gear with your foot on the brake, just to circulate it through the tranny and get the level where it's supposed to be. Okay, so let's check the fluid. Nice and clean red fluid. And we are right on the money. We're just a tiny bit over, don't over full. And it is on a hill. I think we're fine. I checked it about 2 months ago. It's right about there. We are on a hill. We are fine. And this truck takes Mercon. It does not take Type F. Sorry, internet people. You're wrong. Anyway, I've had this tranny out of the truck, and I replaced a bunch of seals and a few bands. And it didn't really need it, but since I had the engine out, I wanted to change the front seal. And you can't change the front seal with the tranny in the truck. It has to be up on a bench pointing down. Don't ask me how I know. Okay, we're good. One thing that's also a problem is there's no more kickdown. That was the old kickdown there. And running the 2-barrel, it's just too hard to hook up. And I haven't had any problem. At slow speeds, you punch it, it does go down. It's the high speed thing. When you nail it, it stays in drive. You know, it's an old truck with a 6-cylinder. Just get happy. It'd be too much work. They do have kits for it, but they're too expensive. And I can't deal, you know? Anyway, I'm hoping this is less fumey. You know, I don't see any vapors coming out of here. I mean, you wouldn't see them, but I don't smell them now. And I'm hoping that this canister going up to this little purge valve, you can see it open up. When that opens up, fumes come off the top of the carb and get sucked into this canister. And hopefully this solves some of the... It's been a little fumey, especially when you shut it off. And it's been a little hot start issues, a little bit. I've got that phenolic spacer in there, I'll show you that. And I used to have this silver stuff, this silver fuel line protector. I might put that back on. It used to go from here to there, and from there to here. And it seemed to help out a little bit, but I forgot to put it back on when I put the rebuilt engine in. Anyway, it's running good, and I'm hoping this kind of solves some of the fumey stuff. Let's check the oil pressure. this off before they have copyright issues. Oh my God, he was playing Led Zeppelin. Take his $20 away. Yeah, that's right in the middle. It was better once I did all the work on the engine. And on a hot day, this might get a little up there, but it runs pretty cool. Yeah, I've probably put 20,000 miles on this since Fred graciously sold me this truck. Yeah, it's a good truck. Let's listen to the exhaust note, and then you guys can go work on your 81 Ford now that you know how to make it less fumey. Idle's a little high. That's okay. Yeah, in the winter I'm gonna have to deal with this choke thing. I'm definitely gonna have to put a wire from here somewhere. Last winter I had it jumped and then the wire fell off or something. I just haven't had an issue with the cold starts. It's the hot starts. You know what? Now that it's warm, let's see how it hot starts. Let's do a hot start. Yeah, don't look at that. All right. On Fords with carburetors, you do not pump the gas on a hot start. Only when it won't start at all, and then you put the gas all the way to the floor and crank it, and you do not pump it. And then it'll slowly kick in. All right, it's definitely hot. You saw me burning my hands on it. No pumping. I think we're doing pretty good. Idle's a little high, but in drive, that idle's not bad. Yeah. Yep, I'm gonna call this a win. We gotta go deliver a bunch of artwork today and bring it to ship it and all this stuff. And it's gonna be really hot today. So I was just trying to make it easier for the occupants and the driver, make it a little less fumey, since you do have to have the wing vents open. The truck used to have AC, but that's long been disconnected. A long time ago. Yeah. Okay, we did pretty good. Hope this works out. Let me know what you're doing with your 80s Ford. If you want to see more videos of me working on this truck, I work on it now and then. It's pretty dependable now that I pulled the engine and put new rings and bearings and I basically went through the engine without boring it. I should have had it machined, but I didn't. The bores were fair. If you want to see more work on this truck, if you have a bullnose truck and you want to see something specific, like greasing the kingpins, this is the last year with kingpin front end. I know, it should have ball joints, but it does not. This was the very last year with the kingpin front end, and I do have to grease them soon. If you want to see that video, let me know. It's a lot of fun. It's really fun. Okay, have a good day, guys and ladies, and keep it positive. When you're feeling down, just work on your old junk. Yeah, like this one.